Hi, my name's Tiffany Moss. I'm doing my SAFMETS standard acceleration video, checkpoint 4, final checkpoint. The course is SBCE 610-825, and the date is December 8th, 2024. I already cut my deck. I mixed up my cards. I'm going to go ahead and mix them up again, just because I'm on video. Okay, and I'm going to start my timer for 1 minute. I don't know why, but it was already going off. Okay, and I'm going to start my timer for 1 minute. Okay, record review is when you are going to document your data as far as time and provide information regarding the client in a timely manner that works in your time space. Reactivity is the effects of an observation. Then you have responsivity of multiple cues. I'm going to go ahead and pass. Narrative observation is basically telling what has been happening with the client in a story form, kind of like, and recording what happens. That will also be a part of data. I'm going to go ahead and pass. Next, we have indirect assessment. So you're not directly working with the client as that's our 1 minute of directly seeing like what is happening to him face to face. You're doing it from more of like a distance, whether that's learning through family, learning through friends, learning through teachers of what the behaviors are. Next is the Punisher assessment, which is an aversive stimulus that could be distributed to the client to identify punishers. The next one is habituation, is to decrease to decrease the likelihood or the responsiveness of a stimulus. Next is pinpointing and design of intervention. I'm gonna pass. Access to tangibles, that could be a toy, just something that the client could hold. A trial-based stimulus preference assessment, so it's supposed to be a quick assessment showing what a client likes and what a client dislikes. So that's something that could be used. Another thing is avoidance. Avoidance is different from escape because escape means that they're in the environment. And like, let's say they're going to school and they're trying to like leave the school. So that would be avoidance. Escape. And avoidance would be like, I'm sick every morning, so like I can't go to school. Like you're trying to not do whatever the task or whatever the SC is that you're supposed to do. Escape, we just defined that. Automatic reinforcement. It's like reinforcement of independent or having to do with reflexes. Reinforcement is something that is good for a client to go ahead and work for, so something that you like or something that you enjoy. A scatter plot recording is where you're recording on it's kind of like a graph, but you're putting dots of maybe numbers of like a frequency of how many times something happened. Culture is in like what a person's could be faith, it could be food, just whatever the family regards as far as like their culture. Social significance of something, of a method that affects a behavior. It's something where it could be with family, it could be clients, it could be teachers. A functional analysis is an environmental variable. It arranges the antecedent, you have the behavior, and you have the consequences that are involved. The function, like why does the behavior happen? Cultural humility of making sure that you're being aware and also being kind toward like your client and their family and whatever their culture and is. Behavior checklist. I'm sorry for my family in the background. Behavior checklist is just kind of checks or tasks that you will go over of specific behaviors that are occurring with the client. A behavioral assessment is where someone comes in, they ask questions, whether it's having to do with stakeholders, it's having to do with the client, of evaluation of what's going on with the client. Pair stimulus preference assessment. Again, it's something like very quick of what the client would like in like a short period of time, what the client gravitates towards the most. A standardized test. This could be like questions. A lot of, I know here we have the FSA of just like a test to just see where the client is at. We have the indirect functional assessment, which goes from like scales, it could be questionnaires, and then a functional behavior assessment, which is the FBA. It's a systemic method of an assessment of obtaining information, and you have functionally equivalent, which is a replacement of the behavior. Maintenance, how you're keeping up with the behavior even after a client has, let's say, understood or understands the correct behavior to have. Multiple stimulus with replacement. So we'll put a lineup of toys or items in a line, and a client would pick, and we would put something there with it in replacement. Which multiple stimulus without replacement, we would just take it, we'll put it over to the side, and it'll be taken out of the lineup. Modifications, things that we would like to change as far as like the client's behavior or as far as like their plan. Multiple stimulus without replacement, we already defined. Multiple stimulus presentation, the execution of pair stimulus of learner chooses from an array of items, and they do it very quickly. We have monitoring progress to see how well the client is doing as far as the plan that we have already given them. Organize is just to make sure that you're organizing your data, you're organizing your workspace, you're organizing what activities you're going to have for your client for that day, and also making sure that your RBTs also have everything that they need. A permanent product is like concrete, like objects of outcomes from a resulted behavior. You have preference, like what a client most likes or what they would most what they more like. You have punishment. This is usually a last result for ABA, but it's when something, a punisher could be like when something's taken away that decreases the frequency of the behavior or the response happening again. Rating scales and checklists of just seeing to determine information if it's possible, the scale that we're rating to use. It could be used as an indirect assessment method. It's also something that could be used. Function-based a function-based definition. I'm gonna pass on that one. Forced choice, if a client is not making like by themselves, they're not picking up or making a decision, we're gonna do it for them. Could do that hand over hand, or oh, here you go, which could be one. Norm referred tests. Attention from others, like they could be having disturbing be causing a disturbance to receive, whether it's a look or whether it's a reprimand from like a teacher or peer. Descriptive FBA is a direct observation of a problem behavior, which has the antecedent, consequence, pretty much everything. We're always going to use antecedent, behavior, and consequence, events, naturally occurring conditions. Interview, inform, synthesize, contingency, past. This is arbitrary reinforcers which are functionally repeated by a target behavior. Setting and events, where something takes place, where you're going to be doing your sessions, where does the client most spend their time. Behavioral interview. This is you're again using antecedent behavior consequences. You're talking with the client, you're talking with the teachers, you're talking with the people in their community, the people that they play with, stakeholders. Ecological assessments. It's a type of assessment that evaluates relationship between the environment and also the behavior. Relevance of behavior role. That is when the target behavior is determined, what is like the reinforcer of the person's natural environment. Condition probability analysis, where something it's not just given to you automatically. It's conditioned and it's analysis that we do. I don't think they have that right, so I'm gonna say no. Antecedent behavior consequence. ABC stands for antecedent behavior consequence. Antecedent, what happened before the behavior. Behavior, what was the behavior and what was the consequence of that behavior. Pivotal response of behaviors. I'm gonna go ahead and pass on this one. Stimulus preference assessment. So we did talk about this of a procedure where a stimuli is picked, where something is presented to a client in a collection or in a lineup. Reinforcer assessment refers to a variety of direct empirical methods where you're presenting one or more stimuli contingent on the target response of the client. A brief functional analysis, functional assessment method, which happens like during your sessions. It's the independent verification, and it involves experimental conditions as well. For anecdotal observation, it's events that are recorded by observers without like actual like formal data. And undifferentiated responding, I'm gonna go ahead and pass. So that will conclude my final SAF meds. Okay, thank you. Have a wonderful day.